What's up everyone, I'm Callum on Toast, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at an incredibly spicy Pokemon in the Great League, Mienshao. Mienshao is a very attack weighted fighting type Pokemon with a similar stat product to Alakazam, but its fighting type moves are low kick and brick break, which unfortunately are both awful, so instead I decided to go full coverage and run Poison Jab, Grass Knot and Stone Edge. Now without brick break it lacks a bait move and it actually loses to pretty much all steel types. But the whole point in running this Pokemon is that opponents are going to have no idea what moveset it's running and likely switch into their flyer to try and counter it. To start off with, I'm running Froslass in the lead to give opponents more of an incentive to bring in their Noctowl into my Mienshao safe swap, but also to counter Machamp because my two fighting types in the back do struggle against it. I chop and change the team a bit throughout the video, but it does gradually become even more spicy as things go on. And with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. What is your favourite Pokemon you love to use to beat Noctowl? Now this could be a safe swap with great coverage that always grabs shields or takes out Noctowl, or a hard wall to punish Noctowl safe swaps. Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we see Froslass into Galarian Stunfisk, so I'm going to safe swap into the Mienshao, and this is perfect. We've drawn out the Noctowl. We get to the Stone Edge here. Are they going to respect the damage? No, and we one-shot a Noctowl. Noctowl is a very bulky flying type, so that is insane damage. Non-stab Stone Edge, by the way, so that is crazy. We now have the alignment we want. We've got Machamp aligned to our Froslass, and even better, they're not running Psychic, they're only running Dynamic Punch, which is single resisted by the Ghost typing that does double resist it, but also the Ice typing that offsets that. But that's fine, we let the second Dynamic Punch go through, and now we've got Sirfetch'd aligned to their Galarian Stunfisk. Honestly, I wasn't really counting here, and their second Rock Slide is obviously going to be a Rock Slide. There's no way that's enough energy, but I'm just going to double shield it to be safe, and I'm even going to go for the Leaf Blades here, just in case I do need to get off both my charge moves, as the Froslass, I think, has banked a move or is very close to another charge move, but it doesn't matter. We're able to counter, farm down the Stunfisk, and my opponent concedes the match. So there you see, that is a prime example of why I'm running Mienshao. Into the next battle here, we see a Pelipper in the lead. They're now going to safe swap into a Galarian Stunfisk. I'm going to counter with my Sirfetch'd. Going to respect the Earthquake here, and it is the Earthquake, so that's a great shield. It means I can fully farm them down. They're only going to make it to a Rock Slide in this matchup. That's perfect. I come out with 100 energy loaded. I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird here, not expecting the shield straight away, but they do shield, which is unfortunate because now I won't make it to another Brave Bird. I have to settle for the Leaf Blade, but I actually grabbed both shields, and rather unfortunately I accidentally came in with the Mienshao here, so I'm forced to shield a weatherball. Mienshao, incredibly glassy Pokemon, can't really tank anything. We now go for the Shadow Ball, take out the Pelipper. They've got a Swampert in the back, and here I'm gonna purposely go for a CMP tie on the Earthquake just so that I can let my Mienshao take the win here by getting to the Grass Knot, and Grass Knot easily gonna be one-shotting the Swampert, and I'm able to take that game. So that is why we have the Grass Knot coverage there, although in all honesty I could have just gone for the Shadow Ball earlier and then hit it with a brick break, but whatever, you love to see those nukes landing, so had to go for it there. And into this game here, we're leading into a Powder Snow, Alola Ninetales. Kind of good that they're not running Charm, because that would absolutely destroy this team. But here I'm going to safe swap into my Mienshao. They obviously don't have a Noctowl as they come in with a Trevenant, which is not ideal, but I am going to be able to win the CMP tie here, and this should be grabbing a shield back from this Trevenant, and now they have all shields down, so I'm looking to be in actually a not bad situation. I should be able to come in with my Sirfetch'd and actually get to a Leaf Blade, and even though Counter and Leaf Blade are resisted, they're both incredibly hard hitting moves for such low energy here, so we're still able to take out the Trevenant. We're going to see what the opponent does now. They come in with a Shadow Swampert. I'm expecting a catch, so I don't throw straight away. They get to a charge move here, but I should be able to double up on my Leaf Blades, and from this range now with the extra counter damage, Leaf Blade should be enough to take out the Alola Ninetales, and obviously another Leaf Blade will easily be enough to take out the Swampert. and I'm able to take that game. So into the next game, we see a Noctowl in the lead this time around, so no reason to switch out. My opponent is actually going to swap into a Lantern, and we're going to counter with our Sirfetch'd because it is a bit more consistent, and I'm hoping that by the time I get to the back-to-back Leaf Blades on the CMP tie, this Leaf Blade will be enough to take them out, and it is just barely enough, so that is great. We're now going to go for a Leaf Blade up against the Noctowl, just chip a little bit, now come in with my Froslass straight away, go for the Avalanche, we grab a shield, and that is great. And at this point, they're very close to the back-to-back charge moves. Gonna shield the first one. I'm expecting a catch, so I don't throw straight away, but they don't catch, and they do just throw their energy straight away. They go for a Sky Attack, and now they swap into the Machamp. That's fine with me. Froslass, very good core breaker to Machamp, and the Noctowl. Here, I'm gonna bank the Shadow Ball, try to catch the Psychic, but my opponent throws an Ice Punch instead, and now they're going to be able to fully farm me down before I get to a charge move, and I'm now forced to throw my Shadow Ball straight away. But this is not great because Noctowl now should be able to barely outpace me to the charge move, and I do end up losing that game even though I had great alignment throughout there. Unfortunately, with that alignment, Mienshao wasn't really able to do what I want it to do, which is nuke either the Lantern or the Noctowl. But into the next game here, we're going to see a Diggersby in the lead, so this is a good matchup, but of course they can run Fire Punch, and they will run Fire Punch, and Fire Punch does do some nice, super effective coverage damage, about 50%, a little bit less, but with the Mud Shots, a second Fire Punch will be threatening. I go for the Avalanche here, and unfortunately, I had a bit of a stutter. I tried to throw one turn before they got to the move, but unfortunately, with that stutter, I wasn't able to, and then it was a CMP tie. This time around, I'm actually just going to force the CMP tie here, and I'm happy to let the Froslass go down. I can get a massive energy advantage with my Sirfetch'd if I'm able to fully counter them down before they get to the Earthquake, but unfortunately, I'm not able to. I was counting, I knew they were there, so I had to throw the move there. I wasn't prepared to go down both shields already, and now here they come in with a Gust Pidgeot. We get to the Brave Bird, it one-shots the Pidgeot. They've got a Lantern in the back, we've still got our shield advantage, and this is why I did save that shield. We can safely shield the Surf, go for the Grass Knot, and from this range, Grass Knot will be enough to take out the Lantern, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see a Shadow Marwile in the lead, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know what to do here. Marwile is a very good core breaker to this team, as unfortunately I'm running Poison Jab on the Mienshao, and I'm not certain my opponent would swap out straight away from that matchup, so I'm actually just going to go for an Avalanche here, and I will now put them into range where I can fully counter farm them down. They try to commit to the charge move, and they don't get there, and now they come in with a Shadow Swampert, which is crazy, which probably means one thing, and that they're running double Mud Boys in the back. So I'm happy to grab both shields from this Swampert here and let my Sirfetch'd go down. I'm expecting that Grass Knot from my Mienshao will be very handy in the end game. So I'm now actually going to come in with my Froslass and tank the energy here, and we're going to see what my opponent wants to do. They go for the Hydro Cannon and they swap into Whiscash. I was right, it is a double Mud Boy team, and I'm going to let the Mud Bomb go through. Mienshao can't tank a lot, but luckily it can at least tank a Mud Bomb, but unfortunately they're already at a second Mud Bomb at this point, and now I've got to be very careful. I can't let Shadow Swampert get a farm down, so I will farm to nearly the point where I'm at one Mud Shot down, and I am in that range, and that's perfect because Swampert doesn't get the farm, and I can get to an Avalanche, take out the Shadow Swampert, and I'm able to take that game. Into the next game here, we're going to be leading Froslass into Defense Form Deoxys. Pretty good lead. They can, of course, have Rock Slide as a coverage move, and they do throw as soon as they get to the energy here, so I will respect the damage. It is a Rock Slide. That's fine with me. They're going to come in with a Lantern now, and I'm going to counter with my Sirfetch'd once again. Go for the Leaf Blade before they actually throw a charge move, and they are going to go for the move here now, and I'm going to let it go through. It's a Thunderbolt that nearly takes me out, but I barely get to the Leaf Blade in time, and that is really good for me as I grab a second shield, and now I don't have the alignment I want, but I'm not that fussed about it. Froslass has very good coverage against most of the meta, and here I'm actually going to let this Surf go through, and I will farm up here. And I'm going to shield in this matchup here. They go for another Surf, and the opponent swaps back into Deoxys. I'm going to farm to nearly 100 energy, go straight for the Shadow Ball. We take out the Deoxys, and we're going to see what my opponent comes in with next. And they come in with a Shadow Swampert, and I'm going to go for an Avalanche here. The Shadow Ball would do more damage, but what I'm hoping is that they throw straight away and they can't farm up any extra, and that is the case, and they go for the move straight away. I try to Poison Jab, farm them down, but they Mudshot farm me down instead, and I end up losing that game. So I actually would have won that game if I just went for the Shadow Ball there, so massive mistake by me. But now we have changed the team up. We're running Shadow Zapdos in the lead, but right now we're Stone Edging that Noctowl. It feels so good. We've had a few bad matchups in a row where we've not done too well, but we are back to Stone Edging these flying types, and we flip switch against a very important team to flip switch advantage because they're actually running a double flying team. So here we now have the alignment we want, and it is going to be the Swampert coming back in, of course, after we take out the Pidgeot. Going to shield this up. I do now have the energy for a Drill Peck, so I'm gonna bank it. They did debuff me against that Pidgeot, so now I can grab both shields from this Swampert, and I will put them into range with my counter damage, where the Drill Peck will now be enough to take out the Swampert. I get to a second Leaf Blade. This will grab the final shield from the Swampert, and they have to go for the Earthquake as well, I believe, as a Hydro Cannon barely won't take us out. Earthquake does take us out though, but I get to the Drill Peck. Drill Peck gonna be enough to take out the Swampert, and I'm able to take that game. So once again, that surprise Stone Edge coming in clutch up against Noctowl. Into the next game, we see a Machamp in the lead. My opponent's going to safe swap into Lickitung, and I'm very concerned here because a very common team a few seasons ago involved Machamp, Lickitung, and Bastiodon, and if that is the case, I need to preserve my Sirfetch'd for that Bastiodon because Mienshao can't really do anything with the triple resisted Poison Jabs and Grass Knot only being neutral. I'm really hoping they let us go through, but honestly, I'm now thinking that I can come in with my Sirfetch'd, fully farm down this Lickitung, potentially, and then go for the Brave Bird nuke, but they're not running Bastiodon. Instead, they're running Alolan Ninetales, and we land the Brave Bird. It does so much damage, puts them into range where I can Thundershock, farm them down, and they come back in with Machamp as well, which is perfect for me, because I can go for one Drill Peck, and Drill Peck will put them into range where I can fully Thundershock, farm them down, and come out with so much loaded energy, and we should only need a Drill Peck to take out this Lickitung, but I would have gone for the Thunderbolt anyway, just to ensure it. My opponent realizes I had a ton of energy, and they concede the match. Now into the next game, another Stunfisk in the lead, and once again we bait out the Noctowl. Are we going to be able to land another Stone Edge up against the Noctowl? Yes, we are, and once again they've fallen for our trap. Everything is looking great, and my opponent's now going to come in with an Altaria, and I really wish I had the Froslass in the lead this game because Zapdos really doesn't do that well up against the Altaria. They go for the Dragon Pulse as a Sky Attack is resisted. We're going to go for a Drill Peck, and we have to be very wary about a catch onto the Galarian Stunfisk. Gonna overfarm. They still make the catch, and that is not good for us at all. And in this game, you can see I'm actually running a Purified XL Machop. This is level 51, best buddy boosted, 100% IV, and we actually tank an Earthquake, get to the back-to-back cross chops, and in all honesty, I need them to shield this. They don't shield it, and we are pretty much screwed here. We have a shield remaining, but this Altaria will be able to fully Dragon Breath, farm down both my Pokemon in the end game. They can shield with this Drill Peck, and unfortunately, even though we landed the Stone Edge up against that Noctowl, we do end up losing that game, so feels bad, but it is what it is. Into the next game, we see a Charm Alolan Ninetales in the lead, and I should be able to get to 2 Drill Pecks before I go down with my Shadow Zapdos, and we barely get to the second one, and this should be grabbing a shield from the Alolan Ninetales. And that's fine. We've put them into range where we should be able to Poison Jab farm them down before Charm farms me down, but you can see the Charms are doing so much damage. And here we are going to shield the Weather Ball, and we actually take them out with the Poison Jab there. They come in with an Alolan Marowak. Are they going to respect the damage from this Stone Edge? No, and we one-shot them, and that completely flips the game on its head. And now we can align our Sirfetch'd up against this Registeel. We've only got resisted charge moves to throw, but it doesn't really matter. The counter damage will add up really quickly. They go for a Focus Blast, and at this point my opponent recognizes they're not going to be able to win this game, and I'm able to take it there. So GG's to that opponent. Into the next game, a load of Ninetales, this time a Shadow, but this time they're running Powder Snow instead of Charm, which is better for my fighting types, but a lot worse for my Shadow Zapdos. Not Galarian. I wish I had a Galarian Zapdos, but unfortunately I don't. And in this matchup, I'm actually gonna let the Zapdos go down. They say swap into an Obstagoon, and I can come in with my purified Machop, tank that quite comfortably. Gonna overfarm here, not sure if I win CMP or not. I think I probably do, but I go for the cross chop, one fast move before they get to the next move. Gonna go for another cross chop up against this Shadow, a load of Ninetales. Now I'm not really sure what they've got in the back, so I will shield just in case they've got something that is also weak to fighting, because obviously my other fighter doesn't have fighting type moves, and they've actually got a Hawlucha, which is a very cool Pokemon. Unfortunately not got the best moveset after Niantic did remove Wing Attack and Sky Attack, I believe, but it's still gonna absolutely run through my backline here, which is very unfortunate. I go for the Grass Knot, and I'm not going to be able to make it to another charge move. They get to another Flying Press, and Flying Press obviously takes me out from that range. They can Poison Jab, farm me down, and I do lose that game, but a very cool Pokemon. Unfortunately a regional for Mexico, so I'm probably not going to be able to use it anytime soon. But into the next game here, we see another Noctowl. Can we land it once again? And no, my opponent actually respected the damage, so fair play to this opponent. They're also running Thunderfang Steelix, which is a very interesting choice. Probably does a lot better up against these flying types like Noctowl and Pelipper, so quite an interesting moveset. I'm going to come in with my Shadow Zapdos. Go for the Thunderbolt just to guarantee the KO. We do take them out. I'm going to come in with my Machop, and they've got a Talonflame in the back. This is not looking good for me whatsoever. Going to respect the damage here. I kind of need to shield anyway. I've got 2 shields remaining. Now I'm going to full send the return, and if we land this return, which we do, we're going to one-shot the Talonflame. Machop just took out a Talonflame. That was insane. We're now going to go for a cross chop, and I should be able to make it to one more cross chop before Machop goes down. Machop absolutely putting in work here, and that does some big damage to the Steelix, and now I'm really hoping they are now in Drill Peck range. Of course, Drill Peck is resisted by the Steel typing, but Shadow Zapdos very attack weighted, and I'm able to take out the Steelix and take that game. So that was insane, and now into the final battle, we lead into a Shadow Granbull. And this is pretty much a representation of how quite a lot of the battles went that I've not bothered to include, because this is a very glassy team, and my opponent's going to shield their Shadow Granbull. You can now see that Mienshao can only tank, doesn't even tank 3 charms. I come in with my Machop, trying to farm them down, and I just got fully swept by a Shadow Granbull. So obviously not ideal, but you kind of have to laugh at it. So that's going to be it for today's video. I will say this now, please don't build this Pokemon. It is not very good. This isn't some crazy strategy that's going to help you climb a ton of elo in the Open Great League. Situationally, obviously it did its job. It baited out those Noctowls, and it nuked them out of the sky with Stone Edge, but outside of that one very specific scenario, it is just not very good, and I definitely do not recommend you build this Pokemon. This video was purely for entertainment purposes, not for an incredibly effective strategy, but with that being said, if you did enjoy it, then make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more insanely spicy content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, let's get into the shoutouts from my previous video. So firstly, we got Ripley32, who says, easily Como O, it's such a devastating closer with 2 shields and Charmers are down. So obviously with that fighting and steel typing, you want to stay well clear of any Charmers, but if you can get the right alignment, Como O can be absolutely deadly. Next we got Coyote Moses, or I think that's how you're supposed to say their first name, otherwise just KY03T, but they say probably Tapu Koko, and this typing is is actually really strong in this meta, and maybe not the best moveset. It doesn't have like a bait move, but it can certainly be very deadly, and I believe Homeslice Henry made a video showcasing it as well. Next we got Nate Davis, who says Reshiram with Fire Fang for steel types, Crunch for Giratina, and Fusion Flare. Also resists fairy types, and actually only takes neutral damage from fairy types, but that's still very nice not to take super effective damage. And I think, yeah, Reshiram with Fire Fang is going to absolutely destroy a lot of the steel types in this meta, so a very underrated pick. And finally, we've got Ollie, who says, hey Callum, with regards to the question of the day, I personally would love it if you started letting us know your answer to them also. So that is what I'm going to start doing, and for me personally, I would say Haxorus, especially with the Night Slash and Earthquake combination that I used in my previous video, is the most underrated Pokemon in the Fantasy Cup meta. You saw, well, if you saw the video, then you saw it absolutely demolishing so many teams when I landed that Earthquake, so yeah, certainly a very underrated pick. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.